Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Rundown. I'm your host, MaryCatherine, and today we are talking about the debut of our newest show on 8 News, 8Sports Overtime. And with me today is the producer making it all happen, Miss Liz Carey. Hello.
Hello, MaryCatherine. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. How's it going today?
It's good. It's good. You know, we got our debut out, which was awesome. And then I had my weekend. My days off are Monday, Tuesday. So I'm back now on Wednesday, which is my Monday, ready to start the week, feeling very good.
Good. And Liz and I worked for a very long time on mornings together.
Yes.
Now you are working very different hours. Mm-hmm. Tell me how it's been. Tell the people what it's about.
You know, I really like doing the morning show. Obviously working overnight is not the best when
it's crazy.
Yeah, working the 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. is a little bit of a struggle for the rest of your regular life. But honestly, I love doing the morning show. The pace of it, it's fast, it's fun. We have a great team on the morning. So I was definitely a little bit sad to leave and come back to Dayside to do our evening shows and then get into sports producing. But sports producing is what I got my degree in. It's what I really fell in love with. That's how it got me into journalism. So having the opportunity to come Dayside and do sports producing was absolutely the way to go for me.
Yeah, that's so fun. And full disclosure, I know nothing about sports except for the ones that I played growing up. So tennis is safe for me. I understand tennis. I know how to run. Mm-hmm. I did track and I did cross country, but watching a football game is so foreign to me. I did enter, we have a fantasy football league. Are you doing fantasy?
I am actually not doing fantasy football. I know, as the sports producer, not doing fantasy football.
It's okay.
Interestingly enough, I am also not a huge football fan.
Okay.
I would say across the board, if you talk to me, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of different sports.
Interesting.
I really love soccer.
Okay.
I love motorsports. I'm a big NASCAR Formula One girl for sure. I like football. I went to WVU, which is a big football school. So, I keep up with football, but I'm not going to put it on TV and watch all day, every single day.
Interesting. So you got your degree in sports producing, though. So tell me, what does it look like to get your degree in sports producing, which covers so many different aspects? And then you also have this, I don't really like some sports. What does that look like, and how do you have to kind of gain knowledge in all these different fields?
Yeah, for sure. So I was really lucky at my school, had a really unique degree program called Sports and Adventure Media, which is what I did. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, as somebody who is not a fan of all sports all the time, in that program, you definitely have to learn to become an expert in things very quickly. And I think that's just part of working in the news, right? You have to pick up things very quickly. And that's sort of how it is, and that was a lot of what our program was. I'm really lucky. Like I said, I went to school in West Virginia. We had a big school. We had a big football team, basketball. We still have a great rifle team. So being able to cover all of that for our own school was really, really interesting. I got my start in sports producing a 30-minute sports show for my college. So that was covering, all of our big school sports and then some of the smaller club teams, and then eventually some more adventure-based stuff, so some climbing groups, some, whitewater rafting festivals, things like that. So we really span the board of, sports journalism. I think we really covered a lot of things, and that makes you really good at having to pick up things quickly, what's important, and like I said, sort of really getting into the meat of whatever the story is about. And I think that's how all news is, right? But, learning the specific things about sports, that was really what that program was about.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I feel like as someone who doesn't know a lot about sports, the cheat that I always go to is the fan experience or a heartwarming story about an athlete. So it's kind of a way to incorporate sports without having to have all the knowledge.
Yeah.
When we did Olympic coverage, which we were limited anyway because the Olympics is on a different station.
Yeah.
And so we have licensing issues there. A lot of the times my stories were McDonald's in Paris and why it's delicious and why people at the Olympics are eating McDonald's. So those were ways that I was able to add sports into my shows without knowing anything about what was going on. Something that you said that I resonate with is just like the fast-paced morning show vibe.
Yeah.
And I feel like anytime I've walked past the TV with like my dad watching a sports show, it's also very like boom, bow, in your face, like fast-paced.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the first show and how the pacing felt and what it was like for you.
Honestly, you know, we want to cover our Virginia colleges. We want to cover Virginia college football. We want to cover some East Coast NFL teams. And then we have a little bit of motorsports news in there. But honestly, I'll tell you, in the half an hour that we had, I felt like we didn't have enough time. I wanted to cover so much more because, I mean, really, when you're covering that many different things, you're picking out one or two highlights from the game. You're saying, these are the two teams that played. Here's the two best things that happened. Here's when they play next. And that's really all you have time for. But I could have spent so much more time. We could have spent, probably 10 minutes just on one game recapping everything. So I think that was a little bit of a struggle for me, is like finding how fast-paced things need to be when you're covering that much. But honestly, it was really exciting to get to put all of that together. I got to work with Madeline, who's our sports anchor.
Yes.
She's our sports reporter, and she
She's
anchors
precious.
Overtime. I love her.
I love her too.
Is so stellar to work with, and being able to have her on camera the whole time, like a whole show that's just her, was awesome. Like, she is so good at her job. She has such great personality. And so being able to really see that on camera and being able to work with her when I'm putting stories together was super fun. And I can't wait to get back to it.
Yeah, I'm going to actually pull up a clip of her now for people who didn't get to watch, just to see her, because she does have such great energy and she's so just like, I love her. I barely know her. Like, I worked with her once, I think, for one night I was working overnight covering for someone and I was like, I don't know you. Hi.
Yeah.
And then another time she did NASCAR live shots for us, which was really fun. So here is Madeline.
Brand new show, 8 Sports Overtime. For a half hour, we'll take a look at all the best highlights from this week in sports. Commanders, Ravens, Panthers for the NFL, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Richmond, and Virginia Union for college football. Then you can't forget high school. We'll review our 8 Sports Blitz game of the week, as well as some of the best high school football plays of the week. But it won't be just football. We'll also take a look at the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, as well as the end of the Diamond Era for the Flying Squirrels baseball team. And finally, we'll take a look ahead to what the next week has in store for all your favorite teams. All that and more, the debut of 8 Sports Overtime, right after 8 News at 11.
So there was our little tease that
Listen to
aired, I
some
guess,
of them.
in the 11 on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So this show airs every Sunday night, right after 8 News at 11.
Yes.
You're here very late. It's a 30-minute show, so you get out at midnight.
Yeah.
How did you get approached about this show? Because I feel like it kind of like popped up out of nowhere, if I can ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to know, like.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. Our sports director, Nolan, the sports office is right by my desk. And him and I have like a pretty good rapport. We've never worked, or I guess at that point had not worked with each other directly, because he does a lot of the daytime evening shows. Obviously, for the most part at that time, I was on the mornings. So we hadn't actually spent a lot of time working together. But, you know, him and I will go back and forth about sports stuff. We have no problem chatting about that. And there was one night where he was talking to Madeline about having to do the sports show, and he was like, you know, I'm just not really sure if we're going to be able to get it all together without a second set of eyes. I mean, he's running all over the state, you know, covering stuff. Just this last weekend, he went down to UNC to cover the Spiders playing against Bill Belichick's, you know, UNC team. So he's, you know, running all over the place getting content, and they definitely needed like an extra set of hands to get this sports
And
show
you were like,
up and together.
me.
And I said, yes, yep, you need someone? Write my name down.
Yeah.
Liz Carey,
Yeah.
you need somebody in sports? I know that. And
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely had the conversation with Madeline and Nolan that like, hey, you know, I've been doing just news for a year, so, you know, definitely got to kick the rust off a little bit as far as getting back into sports producing. But I don't know, it's like riding a bike. It just feels good.
Yeah. That's really cool that you just put your name out there. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we've talked about on the rundown a lot is the producers are back behind the scenes writing everything. So are you writing everything in the show?
Yeah, so, yeah, like Nolan had given us his package, his 2:30 wrap package on the UNC game. And then I cut up a package that Madeline had done the day before from like another college football game. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much all me as far as like the NFL highlights go. That's pretty much all me. The colleges that our reporters don't actually go to for games, like I'm pulling highlights, I'm, writing whatever that script is going to be. And of course, like Madeline and I go over everything before we go to the show so that things are a little more in her voice.
Yeah.
Or, I make clear what we're trying to get across. One thing that I kept getting wrong over the weekend, which we caught it before it went to air, of course.
Yeah.
But I kept writing red zone instead of end zone, which is very similar and not outright incorrect. But what I meant was end zone.
So what is the red zone?
The red zone is like in football. It's
Football
like when
101.
you have the opportunity to score.
Okay.
And then the end zone is when you have scored. Like you're in the red zone when you could score. Then you get
it moves. Or no?
Yeah, it's like the area where the play is happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know about that.
But anyway, so just one example that, I needed an extra set of eyes. I have Madeline there to go over everything with me. But yeah, like for the most part, it's pretty much all on me. I mean, obviously I have the resources that our sports department has, which is wonderful. But yeah, for the most part, like I'm putting most of the show together, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
I really like doing that. I like having the opportunity to really like get my hands back into sports, and that's fun. I like it.
And I think it's really cool also that it's just two girlies.
Yes, I love us, our two sports girlies.
The one thing you need to know about Liz is she's a girl's girl.
It's true.
We were on the mornings.
The rumors are true.
And every day she was like, "Hey, girly." I was like, "Yes."
Yes,
I am now on the morning team with all the boys, who I love.
Yes,
I
love our
my
boys. We love our boys.
But nothing beat coming in and Liz being like, "Girl, guess what?"
The
I'd be
girl
like, "What?"
power. The
I know.
girl team. I love it.
So I think that's really awesome. That's just you and Madeline, like, taking control, doing this all together.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little crazy. Like, we both still, have plenty of experience, I think, at this point.
It's
but
still new, though.
Yeah, the show is very new. We both, I think, feel still green in our careers, especially.
I've been here almost 3 years, and I still feel like new.
I've been here a little over a year. Madeline has been here not even 6 months, I don't think. And definitely feels like a lot to be like taking this on by ourselves. I mean, luckily we have lots of resources. I mean, so much of our team is here to help and, happy to be a part of things.
Yeah.
Which is very, very nice. But yeah, it definitely felt like kind of a lot, especially before that first show, because, you know what football games are happening over the weekend, right? So you can kind of plan for things when you're making your show. You're thinking, okay, we'll have the NFL games at the top. That's what's most important. And then we'll go to college, right? Because, when the games are happening, you can sort of plan out when you're going to put stuff together. And then it just so happened over this weekend, like Virginia Tech fired their head coach.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so that was everything blows up because, we had planned on leading the show with the Squirrels, the last game with the Diamond, like recapping their series, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, cute. And then, Virginia Tech decides to fire their head coach. At that point, I had already built all of the highlight coverage for the Virginia Tech game. They lost. But, I had already built all this coverage out. And then, just like in the news, things change on the fly and, got to rework everything.
And it can be so frustrating at times, but it works out in the end. It's fine.
Yeah. But I was really excited with what we were able to put together.
So there's no weather in this show.
There's no weather. It's just Madeline.
That's wild.
It's just Madeline. There's no weather. There's no traffic.
Wow.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little crazy to just a solo anchor show, period.
Yeah.
Nobody else is in the room. So that's definitely an adjustment.
With no one to chit-chat about these things that you're watching, like crazy plays and stuff.
Yeah, which, luckily, Madeline is so great. I don't want to say she's very opinionated in a great way.
Yes.
Like, she can talk about sports all day long. So she has no problem chatting about whatever play you just saw, which I love.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is an adjustment, especially when you're like planning for time. I mean, as you're a producer trying to plan out your stories and how things are going to flow, like it is definitely an adjustment.
Sometimes
when
a
you're
little
writing.
15-second chat can be like all that you need to feel safe.
To just, put
and
it
then
over the edge.
not having that option is like, oh my gosh, that's a lot more time I have to fill.
Yeah.
I forgot the next thing I was going to ask you. Oh, just what are some like ideas you have for this show? I know it's just starting and you have one anchor, one producer, one director. So it's limited resources while still having the resources of the station.
Yeah.
So what are like some dreams and visions that you have for it?
So what we're working on now is putting together like a Coach's Corner segment. So we're like setting up interviews with some college coaches coming up. I know Nolan just interviewed the Richmond Spiders head basketball coach.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna get some more of the U of R staff in here, like in studio for interviews, which I think will be really exciting. I'm really waiting for like competitions to heat up when we get a little closer to like playoffs. Like we're in NASCAR playoffs right now. And this of course is just like on the producing side of things. I'm so excited to build up all of these NASCAR graphics, like building all these NASCAR graphics, doing it in the graphic in the Piedmont, taking it full. Like, of course, just producing
Everyone
things.
who watched last week should know what the Piedmont is. Just saying.
Just, silly producing things that, like, I'm excited to try and, that we don't really get the opportunity to do as much, in regular news. So lots of little things like that I'm very excited about. I'm very excited to try.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really can't wait to get started. I'm really ready to get into it.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten the first one out of the way.
Yeah, which I'm sure is a huge relief.
Yeah, definitely. It felt like, especially for a while, it was like a lot of hurry up and wait. Because, again, you know what games are happening. You see the schedule, so you can sort of set some stuff up. But honestly, you have to write so much, and then, okay, I just have to wait for this game to end. Like, okay, I just have to wait for, this statement to come out or this highlight reel to do whatever. So for a while, it felt like a lot of hurry up and wait, which for me, oh my God, so much anxiety.
Don't make her wait.
It was just like, okay, the show's done. Now you just have to wait. And then, of course, Virginia Tech fires their head coach. We're waiting on this. There's a million injuries in the Commanders game. Like, of course, just like news, things change. But that was definitely a little bit of a struggle for me. Now that we've gotten through the first one, though, I feel very good. I know that we can do it. So
you can do it. Yeah. I'm so excited for you. Well, I think that's all I had. Was there anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's everything. I mean, this was so fun. I love chatting with you, whether you're on the podcast or not. So, of course.
Sunday nights, 11:30.
11:30.
Well, right after 11, because sometimes the football games go long.
Sometimes the football games push us a little later, but right
if all
after
goes
news
well,
at 11.
11:30-ish should be the time. Okay, cool. Y'all be sure to check it out. And we'll see you next time. Bye.